loved the first half of that game. I thought we were trying to get back and establish some of the pace that we want to play with, which I thought was important, and it opened things up. Our ball movement was great. I think we had 10 assists in half, 9 threes. It frees Plummer up, creates great space. I thought it was really important to move their tags. And we knew that they would come after Kofi. They did a great job on that. And then, second half, it was, we didn't run, and, we opened the half, and I think DeMonte had 3 kind of horse shots from 3 that didn't go in, and all of a sudden they make a couple, get a couple in transition, and then we turn the ball over at an uncanny rate. We haven't had 20 turnovers probably since Cincinnati. I don't know, don't quote me on that, but it's been a long time. And we hold Bowie and Chase to 7 of 28, 0 for 10 from 3. We knew those were the 2 guys. They're 1 and 14, I think, when Pete Nance makes more than 1 3. So we weren't overly worried about that. Everybody gets worried about his pick and pop. We were worried about those 2 guys, and I thought we did a nice job there. Love the rebound total, and then RJ was terrific tonight. And I think we're starting to see depth and growth, and I thought Coleman was really good as well. So Plummer was elite in the first half, and then our tempo slowed. And, we didn't get him as many looks in the second half. But good start to the week, and glad we got found a way when things weren't great.
Go ahead, Dan.
Coach, what would you see with the execution in the second half? Was there something different that Northwestern was doing, or just your team not executing the way they did in the first half?
Well, the pace and tempo was completely different, and we got we got the ball to Kofi. He just had an uncanny 6 turnovers. He's handled doubles and triples all year, really. But along the way, we only made 1 3 the second half, and we got good looks. And when the ball doesn't go in, it's amazing how things change. And it led to some fast break points for them, and that was allowed them to get back in the game.
Brad.
Obviously, big game from RJ Melendez. There was one play in the second half when he gets beat back door, and you're ready to yell at him, and then he blocks the shot. Does that kind of showcase maybe where he is, and also shows what he has?
Absolutely. And I don't know if you guys noticed. I hope somebody got a picture of that last rebound. Wow. He's gained 20 pounds since he's been here, and he's a great competitor. He's just had to learn how to play at this level and understand the physicality. I mean, he gets beat on a simple flex cut, which we covered in scout. Scouting report mistake, but he doesn't quit on it and just goes and blocks the shot. And it's nice to have guys who have that ability to go do that. And a lot of guys can get beat, but they can't recover. And RJ's got those gifts.
Jeremy.
Brad, as you say, Kofi never has a bad day, but it was rare to see him flustered at a time tonight, and then he bounces back. How do you guys prepare him, or how does he handle the physicality he gets, the attention he gets every night?
Tonight was as bad as I've seen Kofi, and as flustered. Kofi was showing us his arms at halftime, and so getting his jersey tugged, and Kofi never shows emotion, and we all know he's the most fouled player in America. If they truly wanted to call a foul every trip, they probably could. We'll talk about that tomorrow. He can't get flustered like that. But then they're late in the game, last 8 minutes, he just was no, eyeball, and carried us home down the stretch. But they sent the farm to him, and he just had some uncanny turnovers that he usually doesn't have, no matter if there's 2 or 3 guys. But he was flustered tonight.
Yeah, Brad, to kind of follow up on that, I know you can't comment specifically on the officiating tonight, but in general, in your discussions with the officiating and on how difficult, because you said so that he's one of the most difficult players to officiate in this game right now, what their challenges have been in officiating him?
Yeah, one of the officials told me tonight they could call a foul every trip. How do you respond to that? I mean, so you're gonna pick and choose? So it's, and, you know, there's one play, I mean, there's two hands straight in his back. You know, and I'm not trying to nitpick on this crew, this is a really good crew. I take these guys every night, but I get it, he is hard to officiate, but at the expense of, you know, breaking his arms and cracking his wrist and bleeding, I mean, so I better be quiet.
Alec?
Brad, a couple of the players, and RJ included, said that his athleticism is something that others on the team don't have. How special is his athleticism and important to you guys as a team?
Yeah, and it's only gonna get better as he gets stronger. You know, that's why when we recruit him, he's different than Potts, he's different than Luke. You know, his athleticism, the move he made in the Purdue game, we just drove it baseline and hit a pull-up jump shot, and the block, you know, those things are really important. And when I tell you he's gonna be a star in this league, he's gonna be a star in this league, and you know, he's played himself into a pretty good opportunity right now.
Did you think, I mean, it seems like these last two games, it's been a pretty fast upward trajectory for him on the court. Did you think once he gets out there and once that light turns on, it was going to happen, and it's about maybe a time you thought that would be happening?
No, I never know when the switch is. He'd been practicing really good. He'd been giving our guys problems in practice, and you know, most of the time he runs on the scout team, and he's the other guys, you know, best wing player or whatever, and he's just giving us problems. And I'm like, he might be ready. And he's so instinctive, and everything's natural and easy for him. You know, his IQ's really high, and then what's matched that now, which wasn't early, is now he's putting in the time. Now the work ethic is creeping into that, and we're seeing a really confident young guy.
In the way back to
Coach, you're atop the Big Ten standings. You have 6 more games left in the regular season. Do you feel like you're going to have some extra pressure to maybe finish out the season strong?
One game at a time. I think I've been here before. You know, I don't think it's Purdue 1-by-1. Every game in this league is so hard. It's what Chris and I talked about before the game. I mean, this league is just this is one of the hottest teams in the league. This team, Northwestern's going to beat some people down the stretch. That team's playing really, really hard. And, you know, I don't ever look at it like that. I mean, we're just literally taking it one game at a time. We got 3 weeks left, and the next one's at Rutgers, and, you know, it's to look forward to anything. We'll tally him up at the end and see where we're at.
Doug?
Coach, do you think this could be a turning point for Coleman Hawkins? He didn't score, but he was a plus 17 in the plus minus. Seems like he had more confidence today.
You know, he was great yesterday. We made him beat Nance. You know, sometimes when you take guys and put them in a different role, and we said, you're Pete Nance, and I mean, the dude made every 3 yesterday, and I mean, was driving the ball, and his drive today, the big difference with Coleman, that drive he made a kick to RJ in the corner. That was a 2-foot jump stop. Early in the year when he was starting and playing, that would have been a 1-foot, probably charge or throw it out of bounds play, because he would have been out of control. And that's where he's matured and he's grown. And you know, defensively he can give us so much. And I'm really happy for him. He was fabulous today.
I guess, I don't know, from June to February, how does the trust develop with the freshmen where you feel comfortable with them in crunch time of a close game in the Big Ten?
Yeah, it's not rocket science, but it's guys have to show you that they can deal with adversity. You know, I don't know how many guys are in the country that think at one point somebody told me there were 24 freshmen playing over 20 minutes a game in Power 5 schools. That was a while back, so, but you can put that piano on their back, because it's called adversity. They've never dealt with it. And how they handle that, not play. New system, all the adjustments that freshmen go through. And how you handle that is interesting. Everybody does it differently. And they all come in here and think they're going to be great and they're going to rock the world. They've been told since they were 14 that they're pros. And they have no idea what that means. But how you handle that adversity, and then you get back to work. Because what happens in practice, more often than not in practice, we're working on team stuff. That's not individual stuff. You may get 3 shots in practice. You know, so now you got to go put in the time. And when they start putting in that time, that means they care. They're about us. They're about what we're doing. All 3 of those guys have done that and shown that. And you know, everybody rides with veterans early, and you know, we've done that. And but boy, it is nice to see. And I got a lot of confidence in. I didn't play RJ and Luke today, and for no particular reason. But I got a lot of confidence in those guys as well.
Seems like every game there's that one stretch. Today was a 7-minute stretch. They make a run. You just struggle on offense. What happens? What do you need to do to make the adjustment there?
Open to suggestions. I mean, you know, we've fought movement. We've fought post ups. We've you know, today it was just. You know, you miss shots, you miss a couple free throws, you know, you've got to stem those tides with that, and you know, an offensive rebound here or there, or, you know, and some of those things, but help stem the tide in that. And not every game is going to be a beauty when it comes to execution, but yeah, you just, you know. We're trying to get going again. We're trying to play with a little more, and that will help RJ. It will help Luke. It will help, you know. And everybody looks at Jake's number. And Jake missed some open shots tonight. Jake's one of the reasons we're playing so well offensively, because he's a great connector. He spaces the floor. Nobody's leaving him. Everybody's pressuring him, and it's great. And because he's a really good passer, and I trust Jacob Grandison a lot. And so it's, I wish I had the answer. I wish, you know, it sure as the hell get it solved, but it's just making a play, making a shot sometimes can flip all that.
Violating your one day at a time rule, but RJ and Fonz were talking about speaking in Spanish and how that helps them on the court. Caribbean has been so good to you. Long term, do you hope to recruit that still?
Yes, and yes, they have tremendous pride, spirit, passion. Yes.
Brad, you talk about culture a lot. How long does it take a guy like Trent to realize, well, I only had 7 points tonight, but Bowie went 3 of 13, so I did well. Like, I contributed. And Coleman Hawkins doesn't score, but he contributed. And how long does that take for them to kind of get it?
I hope pretty quickly, because that's what we talk about. And I don't want, you know, it's one of the, to be honest, it's one of the big challenges with Fonz. You know, everything, he's attributed his all of his success to how many baskets he makes. And you know, we're fighting that. We're, you know, that's winning basketball when you hold 2 guys that are really good to 7 of 28. That's winning. And it's not, you know, because we can't control offense. We can't control when that ball goes in every single night. And so we're trying, and that's helped RJ, to be very honest, get on the court, because he's got length and he can guard. And he's bought into that. He's not worried about how many points he scores.
It seems like there's times when Andre Curbelo is a little bit outside of this structure, a little bit kind of freelance. And are there times where you need to dial him back a little bit?
It's a hard one to answer, because we've all seen him the beauty with Dre is he can break plays off like no other. No, there's not one team in America that can keep Andre Curbelo out of the paint. Not one. I mean, he did it against Baylor last year. And he's trying so hard to find a little rhythm and to find his pace. And yesterday, you know, he playing his butt off in practice, literally having his best practice of the year, and he rolls his ankle. And so he didn't practice the rest of practice. And you know, he's, yes, to answer your question, there's a fine line. And yet you got to understand he's going to make 1 or 2 turnovers because of what he's, you know, what he's going to try and what he's capable of doing. But we need him to be really good and really dialed in.
Is there a moment in the recruiting process, or maybe even early, when RJ got to campus, that his athleticism, like, was there a play that you were like, we gotta have that come through here in some time?
Yeah, the first day of layup lines, you know, when he's leaving just inside the free throw line dunking a ball. No, we saw it in the recruiting process, and we knew we needed that type of athlete on the wing. And we haven't had that 6'6", 6'7" size and that athleticism. And you know, he's a really good shooter, but yet that's a different type of athlete than you know than most guys we've had.
Yeah. Brad, this time of year, you guys obviously are leading the Big Ten. Do you sleep better at night because of that, or worse at night because of that?
I don't sleep, period. I didn't sleep the first 2 years when we were getting our ass kicked, and I don't sleep now. And my wife was mad at me this morning because I woke up at 4:45 to see who won the late games last night, and you know, I pick and choose. You know, tonight will be Super Bowl commercials and Rutgers, and you know, if I don't get, yeah. So I don't. To me, it's not any of that. I can't control what happens with 13 other teams, and so it's literally the game, the next game, and we'll. You know, we know we're first. You guys, it's all you guys talk about. It's all everybody talks about. And I can't keep our guys from hearing that. So we address it, but we're not talking about it. That'd be a death sentence to do that. So how can we try to play the best game we can against Rutgers?
You said you identified in the review process that you needed more athleticism on the wing. Was there a reason or a game that made you feel like you needed someone with RJ's kind of athleticism on the wing?
Everybody's had it in the league. Everybody's got really good size, had really good size. I go back to my first year, and what was the kid from Bloomington with Ohio State? Thank you. You know, 6'9" on the wing. We're out there with 6'2" guys trying to guard him. And you know, you go through, and we've been really blessed because DeMonte's got unbelievable length and unbelievable strength, and he's been able to guard some of those guys. But you know, it's just an area we needed to get an emphasis and continue to grow and change and try to find 6'6", 6'7" guys.
All right, thank you, Coach.
Enjoy the Super Bowl.